The same mug has sat in your sink for 9 days. Lazy was never the word. There's a real name for what's happening here, and no one ever taught it to you. You've walked past that mug 40 times. You've thought about it every single time. You've narrated the entire job in your head. Turn the tap. 90 seconds. Done. And your hand still won't move. From the outside, that's a person who can't be bothered. From the inside, it's a person standing at the edge of a task they badly want finished, with no bridge to the first step. Same scene. Opposite story. And the world only ever graded you on the outside. If you've ever been called lazy for something that was actually destroying you, this one's for you. We're going to draw the line nobody drew for us. The real difference between laziness and executive dysfunction. Not the textbook version, the version you've lived. This is the one nobody handed us, so we're building it ourselves. By the end, you'll have language for the thing that's been mislabeled most of your life, and 4 moves to start working with the wiring instead of fighting it. Here's what's actually going on under the hood. For decades, ADHD got framed as a problem with attention. The research moved. Russell Barkley, one of the most cited researchers in the field, built a unified theory in 1997 that reframed the whole thing. His argument was blunt. ADHD isn't really about attention. It's a disorder of self-regulation and executive function. Executive function is the brain's management system, the part that takes what you intend and turns it into what you actually do. Intention lives in one place. Action lives in another. Executive function is the bridge between them. And in this brain, the bridge is under construction. Barkley's point cuts deep. The internal motivation that's supposed to get you moving toward a goal runs weak. So the fuel has to come from outside, from the environment, arranged right at the moment you need to perform. Hold on to that. It comes back later. Then there's the hardware. A 2007 brain imaging study tracked kids with ADHD and found their cortex matured on a delay. The thinking and planning regions came online years behind their peers. Not broken. Late. A kid getting judged at 10 for a system that wouldn't fully arrive for years. And the piece that names your exact experience comes from Thomas Brown at Yale. Brown mapped executive function into clusters, and the very first one is called activation. Organizing the task, prioritizing it, estimating the time, getting started. Brown found something specific. His patients would put off starting a task they knew was important, sometimes one they cared about deeply, until it crossed into an acute emergency. That's not a willpower gap. That's an initiation system that only fires under threat. So here's the difference. No one ever named for us. Laziness is not wanting to. Executive dysfunction is wanting to, planning to, hating yourself for not, and still being unable to start. One is the absence of desire. The other is desire with no on-ramp. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. There are 4 scenes where the world saw lazy and you lived something else entirely. Watch for each one. Scene 1. The easy task. From the outside, refusing to do a 4-minute job is the purest laziness there is. It's 4 minutes. How hard could it possibly be? But watch what's actually happening. You're not avoiding it because you don't care. You're circling it. Notice you never once forgot the mug was there. Forgetting would be easier. You've picked it up and set it down in your head a dozen times. The size of the job has nothing to do with the size of the resistance. That's the tell. Laziness scales with effort. Big jobs feel worse. Executive dysfunction doesn't scale at all. The 4-minute task and the 4-hour task hit the same wall. Because the wall was never the work. The wall is the starting. Scene 2. The last-minute sprint. You couldn't touch the project for 3 weeks. Then, the night before it was due, you did the whole thing in one feverish sitting. And it was good. To everyone watching, that's the proof. See, you could do it the entire time, you just chose not to. But Brown already explained this one. The task became possible the second it became an emergency, because urgency was the only thing that could fire your initiation system. You didn't suddenly unlock willpower at midnight, finally got handed the one fuel your brain accepts. 3 weeks of lazy and 1 night of brilliance can't both be the real you. Only one of them had the fuel. The all-nighter isn't evidence you were lazy. It's evidence of the exact opposite. Scene 3, the report card. This is the one that goes back the furthest. Picture it. The 90s kind, with the columns and the teacher's comment handwritten along the bottom. Straight A's wherever the work was interesting. And then that one line every former gifted kid has burned into memory. Not working to potential. Could do better if he applied himself. There it is. A child with a cortex that was developmentally years behind on the exact skill being graded, handed a character verdict instead. Nobody wrote activation delay. They wrote lazy, in cursive, about a 10-year-old, and mailed it home to your parents. And you believed it. For 30 years, you believed it. Scene 4, the caring. This is the one that matters most. There's a comfortable story that says if you really cared, you'd just do it. So not doing it must mean you don't care. Turn it over. A genuinely lazy person feels fine. Lazy is peaceful. What you feel is the opposite of peace. The undone task doesn't haunt them. They're not lying awake at 1 a.m, building a plan for tomorrow. They already suspect they won't pull off. The torment is the tell. The distress you feel about not starting is the single clearest proof that this was never laziness. You can't be tortured by failing at something you don't care about. The caring was there the whole time. It just never had a road to travel on. So what do you actually do with this? 4 moves. None of them are productivity hacks. They work with the wiring instead of shaming it. Move 1. Name it correctly. Next time you're frozen in front of a task, catch the sentence running underneath. It's almost always some flavor of being lazy again. Stop and swap it for the accurate one. This is an activation problem, not a character flaw. That's not a cope. It's precise. And precision matters because you cannot fix an initiation problem with a character solution. You've been trying that version for decades. It has never once worked. Move 2. Shrink the on-ramp. Make the first step smaller than the resistance. Your brain isn't refusing the dishes. It's refusing the size of getting started. It treats one fork and the whole sink as the same impossible event. So lie to it. Promise it only the fork, not write the report. Open the document and type the title, badly. Type it badly on purpose, because perfect is just another way your brain refuses to start. The goal isn't to finish. The goal is to get the engine to turn over, because once it's running, momentum is a completely different system. And that one usually works fine. Move 3. Borrow your urgency from outside. Remember Barkley. The fuel has to come from the environment, so build it on purpose. Put another human in the room, even a stranger on a video call doing their own work. It's called body doubling. And it isn't a crutch. It's the exact mechanism Barkley described. Motivation arranged at the point of performance. Set a timer you can see. Text someone that you'll send it by 6. You are not weak for needing external scaffolding. Your brain is built to run on it. Move 4. Stop auditing the gap. This is the subtle one, and it's the most important. Every hour you spend punishing yourself for not starting is an hour that starting gets harder. The shame doesn't fuel anything. It freezes you deeper. The audit feels productive, like you're at least holding yourself accountable. You're not. You're just adding weight to the thing you can't lift. There's research on this. People who absorb the lazy label start performing it. A loop that feeds itself. You'd never talk to a struggling friend the way you talk to yourself at that sink. Aim that same patience inward. Drop the audit. Start from exactly where you are. If you've ever sat in front of something you wanted to do and physically could not begin, hit like. It tells YouTube there are more of us than anyone admits. And subscribe, because we're working through this whole maze one piece at a time. Here's the part that stings. The word lazy did more damage than the dishes ever did. You could have made peace with a brain that starts slow. What you couldn't survive was 30 years of being told that brain was a character flaw. It wasn't. It never was. The wanting was always there. It just spent your whole life with no road out. You weren't lazy. You were stranded. Pinball mind. Deep dive videos for the ones who aced the test, lost the permission slip, and spent 30 years performing fine.